Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast. We are live on YouTube. For some reason, it hasn't gone live to X, but anyone, if you can, retweet it to X, get on the retweet and put it on X, and we'll get some people come over on X. But we are here, Everton versus Tottenham, and we have an opposition fan on. Of course, we do. We've got him back, Harry. You know we love him. And we want to make this a cracking pre-match listen for you. So do get involved in the comments. We have got loads of regulars. We want to hear what you've got to say. Go along through this with us. We'll look at both teams' form. Harry will give his lineup prediction. Me and Paul will do a joint lineup prediction. We want your lineup prediction in the comments. And then we finish with score predictions. It's the perfect way we find to get ready for the game. So get involved. And it should be a cracking bit of fun. Paul, how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. One of them strange starts to the weekend where we sort of watch everyone else do it first and then we get our chance tomorrow. So it's been a lazy day, but an interesting day. Watched a few games as well. There's some decent teams out there. We should be one of them, but at the moment we're not. Hopefully we are tomorrow.
But it was mad because I was on Harry's channel. I mean, obviously, he does the Tottenham channel, which I'll give a mention at the end. But I was on his other channel, which we do all-round football and speak about every team. And I got to watch a couple of them today. And we did a couple of predictions and stuff. And I got to see if my predictions was right. And, well, Bournemouth. Bournemouth, that's all I'm going to say. Is probably just Bournemouth. I mean, I keep saying on the all-round football on Harry's channel that Bournemouth, I think they're going to probably... There's going to be a game where they don't do well or they'll die down. But no, they are. I've started to think now they're the real deal. They are the real deal, Bournemouth are. But yeah, that was... let's get into this, though. Harry, how are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Always great to come on the channel. Looking forward to tomorrow's game. I think a big one for both. And as Paul said, kind of we've seen other teams play this weekend. Now both teams got their chance tomorrow. On Sunday. So, yeah, no, it should be a cracking game, as I said, important for both. So, looking forward to dissecting it and, yeah, really getting into previewing the game.
Yeah, we'll get into it and we'll have a look. And I have had to actually type the results up. That's the thing that I do now. I like to actually get a gist of both teams' form and put it on the screen. We give you an in-depth look. And here, should have, all being well, Tottenham's results. Now, red is loss, orange is draw. Obviously, green win. Do you know what? I've accidentally there, because I was rushing it, done a loss as a green. But that green there in the middle, Chelsea versus Tottenham, where you let them come back, that should be red. So there's a lot of red, isn't there? I didn't think you was this bad until I actually written it up.
Yeah, well, I can give you a stat. We've won 9 Premier League games in the last 9 months. That is, for me, absolutely staggering if you think about it. And yeah, we've had players out, but we should be doing ultimately a lot better. And we sit in 15th place, 8 points above the drop. And, if we don't get a result tomorrow, then there's pressure on Ange Postecoglou. We're, really struggling at the moment. As you said, a lot of losses in there. Some that we shouldn't have lost and some we should have lost by more, like Liverpool, for example. So, really bad performances in there as well. So it's been really frustrating. And just every time we think we've turned a corner, we beat Liverpool in the Cup. We lose to Newcastle, yes, but we play well. And then we see like Tamworth, who credit to them, but we made that incredibly difficult, which is, we didn't need to. So it's just proper frustrating. And now we've lost 11 games this season and it is really poor form.
Rod Ross says, stop showing off with your 9 wins. It's probably even worse for us. But, I mean, you look there and it's a loss. I just wouldn't expect this form for Tottenham. Loss, draw, loss. So you've lost 4 in the last 5. And then you beat Southampton 5-0. But then you lost and you lost again. So, not jumping on you, but it is real bad form. But I think we spoke about it with one of your friends last night on the channel. Also, because you've been doing well in the Cup, do you feel that's took a bit of the attention off how bad you've been doing in the league?
100%, absolutely. When you get to a Carabao Cup semi-final for a club that hasn't won a major trophy since 2008, 16 years, of course, it's going to take the pressure off. But the reality is we have a board that, can't help themselves, or the chairman, should I say, as well, with Daniel Levy, that absolutely loves to pull the trigger. So, the way I look at it, you've got an emergency, sack button of Postecoglou, and his fingers, for me at the moment, right on the edge of it. And tomorrow that could be, Postecoglou tipped over the top of the hill and sacked, and that's the ultimate reality. I'm still personally behind him. I think it's a vicious cycle at the club. I think our problems are a lot deeper than Ange. Prime example, 18 days now into the window, will be 19 at the time of the game tomorrow, and we've only signed a goalkeeper, and we're 15th in the league, really struggling. Injuries clear to see, depleted squad when you're playing an 18-year-old midfielder at centre back, and Spence out of position, you name it, third, fourth choice keeper. And the owners can, have come out and hearing rumours 15 million is what the budget is this window, and that's what looks like what we've done. We spent 12.5 million, and there's absolutely no link to any other player. Of course, that can be a good thing, but our problems lie a lot deeper than Ange. So yes, the record's poor, but I'm still behind him. He's given for me at least until the end of the season. He has a right to play or manage, should I say, that second leg of the Carabao Cup. He's earned that. He's got us there. And a lot of us Spurs fans, we wanted the rebuild. We would have taken struggling a lot like this in the league if it meant we could end our trophy drought. And ultimately, we still got just a shot, I think, to doing that. And we're halfway to being in the final. Whether we can make it or not will be a completely other thing. But I'm still behind him. But there'll be pressure on him tomorrow if things take a turn for the worst.
Paul, I'm going to get your voice on this. What do you think of Spurs form before we move on to ours?
I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Spurs because they've been the same since I started watching in the 80s, where they're just inconsistent. We're either really good or really bad. And Spurs, you have games exactly like that. Smash City, smash Southampton, lose 4-3 at home to Chelsea, 6-3 to Liverpool. It's exciting being a Spurs fan. They're certainly entertained one way or another. So you'd have to say the defence, because it's just obviously leaking goals, but they do tend to score a lot. They've always seemed to have decent strikers, and I know Kane carried that on for a good few years, but you've got other good attacking players. Obviously, Son being one of the major ones, and we think you've got a decent one in Richarlison, but it's never really worked there. So the leaking of goals is encouraging for us because we might have half a chance of getting one, but Spurs score most of the time. It's unusual for them not to score, to be honest. I know there's 2 games in there, but obviously the red card made a lot of difference against Forest. And Bournemouth are obviously Brazil now, so everyone who's decent loses to Bournemouth. So our games are often 1-1, 2-2, 5-4 against Spurs. So tomorrow, the chances are that it'll be a similar thing again. I wonder whether, Harry can mention it, answer it for us. Defence-wise, are you just sort of all over the place? You've got injuries. Is that the main reason that you kind of just above us, by the way? 7 points. It's
crazy, isn't it, really? It is crazy, and you are a good side, but you've struggled and got rid of your manager, and we're just 7 points above you. So you're totally right. But in terms of defence, I will defend Postecoglou on this because we've been, and some of it is, by the way, a lot of hamstring injuries. So that's all on him in terms of, I think, training, highlighting the way he plays. But we've got a depleted defence, and we've had 12 players out now. Unavailable for several weeks, and they've all been, that happens. Okay, big club, you've got to cope with it and get on with it. It's all been in defensive areas, and our back line has just been crazy. As I said, Archie Gray never played centre back in his life, 18 years old, and has played the last, I don't know how many games, talking 10, 15 at least games now, consecutively in all competitions. At centre back, with Richarlison, you've got Spence, for example, who we wanted to sell in the summer. I think it was a crazy decision to even consider that. Playing at left back again, never done it in his career. We've had Fraser Forster for a big chunk of the season. Obviously, had Austin for a game. Now we've got Kinski, who's settling in, a bit wobbly in North London derby, but I think it was important to bring him in. And like Porro, there's a stat I read the other day, he's played 96% of all games for us this season in all competitions. And for a couple of Spurs in Europe, that shouldn't be the case of needing to rely on him. So to go into the season with one right back was absolutely crazy. And yes, people go, hang on, you've got Spence as a second right back. We didn't register him for the Europa League squad. So there was no intention of playing him this season. So the ball for me have blood on their hands, and I've never felt strongly about them. But as we really struggle at the moment, I think that they've got to take accountability from the top. We've been here a long while now, only one trophy in their reign. And I just feel it's a vicious cycle at Spurs. Managers don't often get longer than 18 months. Example of that, and Postecoglou last season was the first Spurs manager to complete a full season since Mauricio Pochettino, all the way back in 2018-19 season, the first in the new stadium. And we've had that for 6 years now. So I think that tells you all you need to know. We don't back managers. It's a good question. So yeah, injuries in defence, but a lot of them are down to him. And there's been an awful rumour coming around now the last 20 minutes or so. It's not from a reliable source. We'll have to wait and see. But that is that Solanke's also got another hamstring. So that would be our 7th player currently out, I think, with a hamstring injury. And I just hope that that's not the case. I think that it doesn't look good for Postecoglou now, whatever way you look at it. Everything you hear is that the board is still behind him. But I don't know how much to read into that, because we all heard that with Nuno, with Pochettino, with Mourinho, and look how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I love the Chelsea game, to be honest. I don't know if it was that one or not. It might have been even last season, where I think I don't know if you were down to 10 men or something. It was the game where you were basically, your defensive line was the halfway line. It was just that mad game, I think, where Chelsea had then gone on to score late on. Jackson got a couple. But I love Angie's sort of unpredictability, and sometimes when it's like that. And Tamworth was obviously another one as well, which entertained everyone else. But that's the FA Cup for you, isn't it? That's what it's there for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris was just asking about Richarlison. What's obviously everyone on our side loves him, and lots of people want him back. But how do Spurs fans feel about him?
Well, me personally, I really like Richarlison. Obviously, it hasn't worked for him at Spurs, but he's been injured several times. We haven't really had him available for a consistent run of games, and when we had, it hasn't quite clicked for him, which is a real shame. He gets back from injury, plays often, gets an assist or a goal, starts the game and gets injured, and it's just been a consistent run. And the question is for Spurs, how long do you give that with the player that's not going to be fit? So I think the general consensus among Spurs fans is I think the sensible fans really like him, but then probably go that maybe in the summer we look at offers, at least we consider, because for Richarlison's sake, and in terms of for Brazil and that, he needs to be playing regular football, and he needs a club that is going to be right for him right now. I don't think Spurs is right. I think he's going to be in and out of the team. Solanke, you spent, you're not going to get our owner to spend that much money on a striker if he's not going to start, pretty much every game and run him into the ground. So I do feel for Richarlison. I just love his passion. There's something about Richarlison, just his passion. And I loved him when he was at Everton. I've loved what I've seen of him at Spurs, but it just really has never worked, which is a real shame. Which has spent quite a lot for him. I think, Everton should be looking to get Richarlison back. Richarlison, everything you hear, though, he closes down every rumour of him leaving the club. He really wants him to succeed, and I totally admire that. And nothing would please me more than him succeeding at Spurs, but I just can't see him staying fit. And that is so sad. You get players like it. Reece James for Chelsea, Ryan Sessegnon was a Spurs player. There are just some players that aren't going to stay fit in a season. I think some will overcome it, and you can work on it. I think Richarlison's the one that, especially in this system, which is tracking back, high line, he's just going to be asking a lot of the body in his system. Second game back will be in this game. I'd love to start him. I think there'd be that passion, that wanting to do well against Everton. So a lot of love between him and the fans. But do you take that risk and he might get injured again? So I think the feeling among Spurs fans hopefully should be positive among those with a little bit of common sense. He's done nothing wrong, and I just love his passion. And like North London derby, a lot of players went missing, but he comes off the bench, tries to make a difference, and just has that heart, has that passion, and that is a way of winning over the fan base.
Yeah, agreed.
Lulu, one of our regulars, says, Harry, will you give us Richarlison for $20, a bottle of White Lightning, and a Mars bar?
No, but I don't know what Daniel Levy would do, because money to Levy is great, and it might go towards our transfer budget to make it 15.2 million maybe, or no, 15 million, 20 pence, you name it. But no, Richarlison.
He's normally a proper tight person on negotiating.
It's good with business. good with business, but when
Yeah,
it
he
comes
is. Yeah, he
to
is good
football,
on your behalf, but not for us.
no, of course.
But I think we'd struggle. It'd be interesting. I think the only way we'd get Richarlison is if Richarlison pushed the deal to Everton. But I don't think your owner, if he spent 60 million, he'll want something back. Like you say, he's good with business.
You're right,
He
but
likes,
we
which is good.
broke the transfer record for Tanguy and Ndombele, and we got absolutely nothing back. We made a 65 million loss. It was humiliating. We made a 40 million loss, pretty much. Well, about 38 million loss with Lo Celso and Solanke. I love him, but if we tried to sell him now, we'd make a loss. That's just the reality. Good player, happy he's here. We overpay for players as much as we don't want to spend, and we don't bring players in. We do also panic buy. And that's the problem. But the club's in a really strange situation. You've had owners that are here a long time, and their ambition is to make it like this massive company, and receiving the new stadium and little things where I feel like the club's starting to be sucked away, almost losing its identity from taking the name away from the logo to go and change little things that bug fans, like the Spurs official app changing to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium app and having to scroll down to page 2 or 3. To find anything about Spurs, it comes below go-karting, concerts. It's just little things like that. I feel like the football club comes after, and that's ultimately, I think, the problem at the moment. So we're in a bit of a bad place, but at the same time, players come back. You win 3 or 4 games in a row. Look at Newcastle. They've gone from turmoil. I know, forgetting today, they've gone from turmoil to, come on, we're in the top 4 battle. So things can change so quickly in football. It's been a great season. I'm still behind Ange, but in terms of Richarlison, I'd love him to succeed. I just can't see it happening, man. It's a real shame. But he deserves to be playing somewhere, a club that is right for him. And I'm not sure that we are the right club at the moment, which is a shame.
No, when you look at your squad, I've kept my eye on top. You've had a lot of injuries, and you can't deny that. The manager's had a really hard job. He's playing with a lot of young players, and you haven't got a lot of youth anyway. So he's had it hard. He has had it hard. And when I spoke to a few Tottenham fans on your channel before, they're with him. They are with him. They don't want him sacked. I think they like his style of football. They like that he wants to win games, and they like that he's not going to sit back and try and defend and give in. He just wants to keep trying that philosophy of winning games. And I think looking at an outside on the inside, that Tottenham fans believe that if he's got the right players, he can be dangerous. He can win trophies because he sticks his way and he really does want to attack. And his only aim is to go and win games. And when you look at Everton at the minute, we're sitting back trying to defend before we try and win. So the pros and the cons with this manager I can, because sometimes going for games can cost you. You can't do that. You have got to sit back sometimes. So I can see the pros and cons in him, why people would be angry and why people actually would still rate him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well said.
I am going to, right now, we are going to look on your lineup. Some of the players I couldn't find, so you might have to help me out.
No problem at all. Well, I'm not good enough. As simple as that, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Who's this Moore?
Oh, Mikey Moore.
Mikey Moore. So how do you spell that?
I just think it's Ikey for his first name.
Oh, he's there, but he has.
The second one.
Mikey Moore hasn't even got a picture, people.
No.
That's how good he is. That's how good he is. Doesn't need one.
And I do apologise to your keeper because that is not Kinsey, but you did give me Kinsey. So this is Harry's lineup, people. This is Harry's lineup. So talk to me, Harry.
That's right.
Talk to me. I've typed it up for you.
Yeah, we don't know who's available tomorrow. Johnson and Basuma are doubts. That's just the thing that's really frustrating is his hamstring injuries. He had it at Celtic as well. How many hamstring injuries are you going to get? And we've got this amount of defenders out is bonkers, and I don't want that as an excuse because that's self-inflicted wounds. But in my team tomorrow, I would start Archie Gray for the first time. Believe it or not, first time in a Spurs shirt in midfield from the start. He's been so good, and we've signed him, but we haven't played him in midfield yet. And I'd just love to do that. And Ben Davies should be back for tomorrow. No excuses. Perfect opportunity to do that. Believe it or not, if you look at all the goals we've conceded and all our problems, our defence hasn't been the issue. it's actually coped really well. Look at North London Derby. We didn't have a shot on target after our goal, and our goal was a deflected goal. Very lucky. Didn't look like scoring, but the defence only conceded 2 with that constant Arsenal pressure. And we don't concede many away from home, actually one of the least in the league. So that is quite impressive. So my team would be a change in defence. So it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see that. Maddison, a player who should have a lot of energy in the tank. Should be absolutely no excuses, hardly played. I bet he'd be frustrated with that. But the reality is he hasn't been good enough. He hasn't been consistent enough. And we've lacked options. And he hasn't been a good option either. But at the same time, the reason I don't like to make excuses is we're still in the position where we don't need to use Maddison. So it's not absolutely turmoil in those options. But up front, Mikey Moore on the left. Son hasn't been at the races recently. Very, very quiet, and I think really struggling. If we did it trigger a year extension to his contract, but I think for me, only as a player off the bench, really a shadow of his former self. Really sad to see. I do think a player that's slowly winding down his career, but at the same time, it's on the manager. I think Liverpool with Arne Slot, they've asked Salah to do a lot less defensive work. Do you see Salah tracking back anymore? I don't. He stays up top and is usually, apart from recently, again, last couple of games where he's blanked, a lot more clinical. Kulusevski on the right, in terms of players you should watch out for, and David Moyes should plan around Kulusevski. The guaranteed one that will turn up and try and make something happen. So we'll have to see. That would be my team. It should be strong enough to go and get a result against most teams, but regardless of our injuries. But the thing is, in North London Derby is whatever team you've got available, and you can relate to this maybe when you play Liverpool, for example. All you ask, right, as fans, right, is to turn up. I don't expect us to get a result at the Emirates. We've got an awful record there. We didn't turn up. And that is just simply unacceptable. Well, that would be my team. I think it'd be a couple of changes, though, from what we actually see.
I watched Gray play in defence for you, and a lot of the time I look for him to be a weak player for you. He's fantastic. Really, really good. Like, he just never loses the ball. A centre-back, calm, fast. He just never looks like he's ever going to make a mistake. Ball under pressure, fine. Holds on to it. Doesn't pass until he needs to. Doesn't rush to pass. I don't think no mistakes actually come from him. And
no, they haven't. But we've overplayed.
We
might overplay him, though. That's the issue at 18 years old. Yeah. If he gets injured, hamstring injury, 6 weeks. We need to be careful with that. That's why I wouldn't play him in defence.
The blonde-haired lad in the central midfield. What's his name?
Bergevall. Yeah, very harsh. Yeah, very harsh not to put him in here. He's been in excellent form. I just think, again, lots of minutes recently. 100%.
Really good player as well. So I was impressed with these two players, Bergevall and Gray. I mean, when you spoke about the derby, I think they were your two best players by far. And
absolutely,
really
even
disappointed from all the other players.
Our position.
Yeah. Spencer's been playing really well as well. I'm surprised you haven't played him as much as you have, because I know Undogi is class, but I feel Spence, when he come to you, I used to think he was good for Forest, and it seems like he's never got that chance to bed in. And he's fast, he's strong, and he's good.
He's got Dorrington in the youth academy rather than. I like Gray, and he's done really well there. But you play an 18-year-old midfielder in defence. You've got the youth academy to turn to. But listen to this, guys. Right, when we announced the Europa League squad, and that was a long time ago, and a lot's changed. But we took 4 goalkeepers and only took 1 right back and 1 left back. We left behind Jed Spence, who can play either side, to take a 4th goalkeeper. What's the thinking behind that? I mean, you could take 2,
Must have been
3.
A fallout.
Surely. But he's done so well recently.
Must have been a fallout. Yeah, he has been class. Paul, looking at this lineup now, what do you think? I mean, they have got a lot of injuries. That Porro as well, he's class. They're right back, sorry. I think he's sensational, he is, to be fair, attacking wise anyway. He's got goals.
Yeah. I would, I mean, it's very attacking. It's very attacking. If you go in that kind of formation, I know it's not going to be, I say it's not going to be as stretched as that, but having watched a few of the Spurs games, the games are stretched, and they do find themselves outnumbered at the back. Certainly if they lose it sort of just inside their own half, or sort of around their own defensive third. So it's ballsy, but that's Ange, I think. I think that's what he's like. So he would sacrifice, whereas we're at the other end. We definitely wouldn't sacrifice any kind of defense for an attacking option at the moment. But but Spurs are the opposite, and they're quite happy not to have many, if any, sitting midfielders, and change that for someone who is more attacking minded. But like you say, it needs people for you. It needs people like your standard Maddison to be having a good game. I think if he has a decent game, I think Spurs are on it. Then he makes them tick, and you'll score goals because everyone in that side generally can. But they're to be got at. I think Spurs would have much preferred it if we still had Dyche, because we wouldn't be winning the ball high up the pitch. We'd be defending, I'd say, the halfway line, but maybe not even the halfway line. And Spurs would be much more comfortable sort of coming onto us that way. If it's more open and we can get up the pitch to defend a little bit and win the ball inside their half, I think they do sometimes overcommit people even before their attack has taken place. So there are some gaps. But it's set up to be a decent goal-scoring game. I just hope we get more, obviously.
Where are your goals going to come from, though? That's the question.
Well, it's a bloody good question. Something we've been asking all season.
Yeah.
We've got to do our lineup now, haven't we, to see where our goals are going to come from. We're going to do our lineup now. That was Harry's lineup, people. If there are Tottenham fans, I'll give us your lineup. We want the people in the comments, quite a few Everton fans in there. We want your lineup. Me and Paul are going to do a joint one, and then we'll share your lineups, and then we'll do a score prediction. So let's have a look. You got it, Paul?
Yeah, there we go. I mean, the thing is as well is that Harry, Everton are having a thing at the moment where there's a growing consensus that we should be changing our 4-2-3 across the front with one in front of them, mainly because we've not been getting higher up the pitch. So there's a lot more support for using 3 centre-backs, is what I'm saying. Dan put together a formation. Was it before the Villa game? I think it was, or in the Villa review afterwards. And there's been lots of shouts on social media as well to play the likes of O'Brien and Branthwaite and Tarkowski and go wing backs. Have you played many teams who've gone sort of 3-5, 3-5-1-1 or a 5 at the back against you? How have you got on against any of those kind of sides?
No, we haven't, and we haven't coped very well historically under Ange. Speaking there, like it's been here a long time. It does feel like it, the way we've been playing really bold, but he hasn't. But that, like Wolves last season, Gary O'Neill back 5, that really dismantled us. Reality is we haven't got the quality, even with everyone fit to break down teams. You may look at some Spurs players, absolutely, and we've definitely got quality in there, but we don't buy world class. That's the difference. We don't have a Bruno Fernandes, a Kevin De Bruyne, a Cole Palmer to unlock defences. We don't do that. That's not how we buy. So we struggle against low blocks. That's reality. But at the same time, Arsenal high pressed through everything, and we couldn't cope either. So we're in a really bad position. And it's just come through on my phone from the most reliable Spurs source that Solanke is out for tomorrow. So that rumour has turned out to be true. So there we go. So I don't know. I don't know what we do. I think Richarlison starts up top. Not the end of the world, but I just let's call the season off. That's all I say.
That's the thing, though, is that Solanke is the kind of striker I think Tarkowski and Branthwaite would like to play against. Really,
absolutely.
Biggest striker, maybe not as much mobility as say 1 or 2 other people that you could have. So is that what you would think then? Do you think Richarlison, who do you think would be sort of taking that role?
Thank goodness it can't be Werner, with no disrespect, because he's unavailable. It plays striker against Tamworth, and I mean, we're getting the Tamworth team at the moment. That's the reality. I've defended him a lot, but he's just shot of confidence and just can't score. It's been a problem for a long time, running theme. So I think it'd be Richarlison up top. It could be Son there, maybe more on the left. We've got a couple of options. It's not the end of the world. It could have been worse. Could have been in a defensive area. Could have been in that midfield. So I'm not going to complain. But the reality is, Solanke's been one of our better players this season. I just think that tomorrow is going to be really tough. I can't see us scoring, to be honest with you. I think this could be an interesting game, but I don't think there'll be many goals. And that's the problem. Both teams could do with a victory. That's the reality. You need to drag yourself away from the relegation zone, really kick on, start your reign of boys on a positive second game in front of the home fans as you move into that transition of a new stadium, the new transition of new owners. And look at the table. We need a win. Desperately need a win. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, Richarlison would be the obvious one to come in, but he's just come back. Does Ange take the risk? I'm not quite sure. We're an unpredictable team at the best.
Well, we don't
saying
want
that. I did at first. I did at first celebrate, but the more I think about it, I think that I do really rate Solanke, and that's why I celebrated, because I know he could probably score. But then
he doesn't do well. As you said,
he
doesn't do well against physical centre backs. He couldn't cope against Arsenal with Saliba and Gabriel. He just couldn't hack it.
No. But then now I'm starting to think, if you played someone like Brennan Johnson, Son as your main striker, Brennan Johnson one side and Kulusevski the other side, and you drop off a little bit and we haven't got no big striker to mark, I think you could be dangerous in front of our defence there. So you're still dangerous. Don't be hustled here, Everton fans, because Spurs sometimes
absolutely.
They look like they could be like missing players and stuff like that, but they've got some good players. They really have. And I forgot, Paul, to actually took on. I don't know how I didn't.
Oh, go on.
I forgot to put our form there. There's our form.
We don't want to see it. That's why we didn't put it on. We don't want to look at it.
I put Harry to shame, thinking showed his bad form, and then I didn't show our bad form. He's probably thinking
there's his bad
form as well.
Yeah.
We're giving
a little bit
better for his money there.
But I think we've lost as many, if not more. It's just you've drawn some that maybe we've won. That's all. But there's still good results in there.
Drawers.
Yeah. Piddle in the mirror, middle bit of draws.
Very often, we're not consistent very often, but we're consistently shy to this at this current time. So we need something, without a doubt.
What we Paul was saying is, a lot of us Everton fans, it took us about an hour and a half to think what lineup David Moyes would do and what he'd do different and what players he would rate that Dyche didn't. And then David Moyes come in and got a lineup, and it was exactly Dyche's lineup. He was not happy because it was pure Dyche's lineup, like proper 100% Dyche's lineup. And we was fuming because we knew Harrison was massively flopping games, and we knew. But we got behind it, hoping, he'll be different under David Moyes. But we've seen the exact same Harrison. We knew Doucouré couldn't play the 10. What Dyche had been doing, he'd been struggling in the 10. Dyche put him in the 10. And it was a 4-4-5-1. And we wasn't happy. And that's why, at the end of the game, we changed the formation to what we played in the Cup the game before, Harry. And it was 3-4-2. Well, it was probably two strikers we played. We played it with two strikers. So we needed to come back and win. And we do believe, I'm glad Paul's put this formation on, we do believe this is the answer for us now. This is what David Moyes has got to do. I'm really scared whether he's going to do that. And I'm a little bit, jump on me as much as you want. I raved about David Moyes, did cartwheels and absolutely licked his arse, but he didn't impress me with that first game. And some people will say, you're jumping on in one game, but he should know better than what he did that first game. I feel that was a big mistake, and we can't make mistakes, otherwise we'll be relegated. We need to, we can't make mistakes. We really can't. And I think that Aston Villa game, there wasn't that good. And David Moyes let him off the hook massively by starting with a really bad team. Right, Paul, what are we going to do to put Harry under pressure and get him sweating on the channel?
Well, I do think that if we do get some set pieces and you've got, 10-foot tall Tarkowski, Branthwaite and O'Brien coming in for corners, or other set pieces, then that's a fair shout. Are we quite happy to have those three at the back with a couple of wing backs in?
Yeah, I'm 100%. Branthwaite, Tarkowski and O'Brien, 1,000,000,000%. I really hope that Moyes didn't just bring O'Brien on as a non-relevant thing. I really hope he brought O'Brien on and thought, you know what? It works. So I like O'Brien on the right, and then Tarkowski in the middle, and then Branthwaite on the left. A few people was calling out Branthwaite having a bad game last game, Paul.
I think that just came from the miscontrol that gave Villa their really good chance to slip Watkins through. So I think it's probably a bit harsh to say that he should, that he had a really bad game. But see what people think.
Like I say, sometimes everyone can make a mistake, and people will jump on, especially if a goal comes from it. But I'll let him off. You shouldn't let any player off, but I will let him off. Harry, you was going to chuck something on us. What was you going to say then? Sorry.
That's all right. I was just going to say, do you think, with David Moyes that you'll maybe concede a few more but score more? I've heard a lot of fans say that. I don't think that you'll concede that many more because he's a defensive manager, but I do think you'll score more. But surely, you need to try and do something in January. I know you haven't got a lot available, a lot of restrictions on you, but you need to try and bring in an attacking body for me. But I think McNeil coming back, I don't think he's too far away, not for this game, I don't think, but not too far away in general. I think that could be massive for you, as well as that double game week to really pull away.
Well, nice link actually, because that left-hand side, a lot of people who favour this kind of formation would say McNeil would be that person on the left.
Right. Okay.
At the moment, though, I think vast majority are either saying Young or Mykolenko. I would say Mykolenko personally.
Yeah, Mykolenko.
I don't know what you think, Dan.
Mykolenko's been really, really poor, but his last game he was good. I didn't even have him in my team, and I put my hands up. I've written him off. I said no more. He's doing my head in. He's not good enough. And then he goes and has a really good game. And some will say he didn't have a really good game, but I think he did. His crosses was a lot better. He got forward, and on what you said earlier on, under Darge, we was pressing teams on the edge of our box. Under David Moyes, we was actually pressing teams on the edge of their box, and straight away, that for me was a big difference, because if you're turning the ball over on the edge of their box, you've got a chance of scoring. You turn the ball over on the edge of your box, we couldn't even pass the ball then to get up the pitch when we do turn it over on the edge of our box. So I do like that Moyes did look like his intention is to let our left back, Mykolenko, and the right back get up. Mykolenko's never played so attacking, and Moyes clearly told him to get forward like Baines used to and like Coleman used to. So it was nice to see that it does look like, on what you said, that we are going to be more attacking. I do think that Moyes is going to go for it, and it can leave you exposed, but this is where you've got to trust your defenders sometimes. You can't always protect your defenders. You've got to just see how good they are and let them be tested, because that's the risk of actually winning games. You can check. I know you can leave your defenders exposed, but you can also have a chance of scoring. That's the big thing. That's what we need to do if we're going to win games. Paul, what are we doing in this central midfield?
Right answer. David reckons Patterson. I agree. I think he should be the one. If it's not Patterson, I think it should be Coleman. But Coleman's obviously been injured. Might still be for tomorrow. So is it Young or is it Patterson?
I don't mind, by the way. Mine's Patterson first choice, because I like the way he played when he got a chance, and I want him to come to light. But I don't mind Ashley Young there. He's not a player that I've got a problem with. Ashley Young's been decent this season. Hated him last season. Well, not hate, because I don't hate anyone. But he did my head in last season, getting a yellow card every frigging 10 seconds in on a game. But this season, he's actually showed his experience. So I'm 50-50. I don't mind Ashley Young now. I don't mind Patterson there. Should we go Patterson?
I think, I would imagine what would happen would be what happened in the last game, and the fact that Young would start, and then come the 70, 80-minute mark, Patterson would be brought on. Obviously, it depends on the scoreline and stuff. I think Patterson is your more attacking one. I think he could get down to the line to put crosses in. I think Young would do it from 30 yards out. So, looking at it, I mean, that left-hand side for Spurs as well, you said more in that lineup. Is Son injured? Is he still out, Harry?
No, he's available. Yeah, no, he's all good. I don't think he's been out the season through injury, but he's just in and out of the team because he's struggled really. A player, struggling for confidence, doesn't really suit the system. His minutes have been really managed. He just can't seem to hack 2 games a week, to be honest. he will probably start there as captain.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be the thing, really. If he's sort of coming in from that left-hand side that he often tends to do, then he'd be up against the likes of O'Brien and then one other. So I know I've often sort of said, and it's obvious, it's from the eye that it's Young against someone fast. Generally, he's done well against people who've been tipped to just leave him in the dust. But I do wonder with Son, I really do. What do you think?
Should we go? Should we go Ashley Young? Because I feel we've got to try and do what we think Moyes will do a little bit, because I think we've already took a big risk on going to formation that we don't think that Moyes is actually going to do. I hope he does, though. I've really put it out there trying to get Moyes. I know Moyes doesn't go on social media, and it's pathetic of me to try and catch Moyes' attention to say, please play this formation, but he's not going to see what I'm saying, is he? But I really hope if David Moyes plays this formation, Goodison Park will be rocking, I'm telling you, because a lot of Everton fans are crying out for it because we just want to see it. Right, we want to see O'Brien played. In the centre, I've seen a few people say drop Garner Gay and play Mangala, but I actually thought Mangala was worse than Garner Gay, so...
Well, are we
looking on putting James Garner in?
Are we thinking James Garner's going to get a start? Is it too early?
I'd like to think that. I don't think we're going to. On what Harry says, not rushing players, I think he'd be thinking, what are you doing here, putting James Garner in, starting him here? So I do want to see James Garner in there, though, because I want to see a composed player. What do you think on this, Harry, though? Because, I never get this, and tell me as well, Paul. Bring a player on for the last 30 minutes, you can still get injured. Why don't you start him for the first 40,
it's exactly
50 minutes?
That. You're better to start, get the best out of a player, then rotate. And it's like Tamworth, for example, not to do with injuries, but to get the job done. Rather start strong, no disrespect, you should get the job done, then make those changes after the hour mark, let's say, or a little bit later, rather than leave your big guns like we did with Kulusevski, Son, Solanke on the bench, and then end up having to play them for 30, 40 minutes anyway, or more than that, because of extra time. Pretty much played them for a whole game, so it's absolutely bonkers. I completely agree with you. So if when I played
football, I've found that when I played football, when I've been sitting on the bench and I've come on, I've got injured more than what I have if I've started a game. I think when you start the game, you warm up, you're ready, your body's ready, and you grow to the speed of the game from the very start. So I don't get this come on at the end. I think you can pull your legs when you come on at the end. People will disagree because I know that is the thing that everybody does with players that have been out. They give them 20 minutes, then 45, then a bit more. I think the opposite way around.
I think the thing about it, though, I think the reason that they tend to do it is that there's almost no plan B. If you go in with your gung-ho attacking sort of lineup from that start, and you don't, I mean, it's all ifs and buts, and you don't score first, you're 2-0 down, 1-0 down, 2-0 down. Where have you got to go then? Where can you go from that point? So that's I'd imagine that's why most sort of managers go with a degree of conservative approach, and then if things aren't in their favour, they've got another bullet to shoot. But if you shoot them all in the first half or the first 30 minutes and you don't get anything from that, then you're almost flying in the wind, aren't you?
The Blues, I knew the Blues head would fall off there when I said that. And he's like, Dan, surely you're not asking what the difference between 45 minutes and the last 30. I know sometimes the game, they say the Blues, your point is that the game slows down and bring them on when the game slows down later on. But with substitutions, sometimes the game can speed up later on in the game. It doesn't always slow down. You can get slow first half and get really fast, epic second half sometimes. But I know you're not going to agree with me on that one. Centre midfield, let's do this.
Well, I don't think anything's going to change. I think James Garner's it's too soon for him. I think in the next few games, very, very possibly he'll be alongside either Garner Gay or Mangala. But I think Mangala and Gana Gueye are going to start in that sense.
Let's lock them in. Let's do it. If James Garner can come on later on when we need him and add a bit of composure, then fair enough. I don't mind though. To be fair, I'm happy I'm getting this formation, so I'm not going to push it on rushing players back to get the perfect squad that I want. Right, and Mangala. They need to be better though. They were shocking last game. They really was shocking. Bad composure, bad in possession, lost the ball a lot. They need to be better. But I do hope that because we've gone this formation and put two flary players in front of them here, Paul, that it helps them a little bit with their passing.
Well, this is the thing, that another reason for this sort of formation, not only to sort of to be continuing to be strong at the back and defensively, is to change the options and to really just take one or two people out the side as well. Because in this formation, you're not really looking to have Harrison in it. You're not looking to have Decore in it. You're really looking to have the likes of Lindstrom, Armstrong, and Jai, obviously, in behind whoever the striker is. So, you know, there's sense in what you do, what we're sort of looking at, and I'm with Rod Ross, honestly. Decore, and we've said about it, shouldn't really be in a creative attacking role at all. He's been in front of Mangala and Gana Gueye all of these games recently, and we're not scoring a goal. But to the point where we weren't even getting shots on target. He's not creative on the ball. He's body-wise, body language, body movement. He's like a Beto midfielder, if you like. He doesn't even know what he's going to do. So how on earth the rest of our players sort of have an inkling about what he could do or what he create? I've absolutely no idea. So that's one other reason for this sort of formation. So Njai, for me, I can see the argument for Lindstrom not starting, because then bit of pace, attacking threat, later on, last half hour, that kind of argument. But I still think that he's better than Harrison. So personally, I would say Njai and Lindstrom. I think it's much easier to go ahead and then defend that and bring Harrison on for the qualities that he does have, instead of starting him or Decore in positions, trying to get the best out of them using skills that they don't have, because we're not going to score many goals.
I'm with you completely. I want to enjoy. I think we need players that are good with the feet. You're going to get into these positions. I think you've got to, on the edge of the box, you've got to put the opposition under threat, the centre backs under threat, or the defensive midfielders under threat from Spurs. And I want good feet. And Decore, I do feel he can get a goal sometimes, and he's a good presser. But I'm looking to get a bit of possession in this, and I want Mangala and Gana Gueye to put it to a player's feet. I think Lindstrom and Njai, they're quite good with the feet, and I want to see what they can do in this position. So I'm with you, Paul. Put Lindstrom and Njai there. We'll do that. In the comments, they're saying they don't want Decore there.
No. And Graham just mentioned in there as well, if Garner does sort of come on last however long, then that's another ball player in lots. It could be in lots of different positions, to be honest.
I was going to chuck that comment on, because what you've got to realise is Mangala and Gana Gueye could get carded. When they get carded, James Garner comes on. I would never risk a centre midfielder on a card. I feel it takes the game away from them, because they're scared to tackle on a yellow card. Get a red, you've lost the game. So I think when Garner or Mangala, which they will, get a yellow card, James Garner's ready. I don't feel I want James Garner. Patterson needs to start playing. And if he starts playing and he's not good enough, then we loan him or we move him on. But we need to find out whether he is good enough. That's the thing. You can't leave that question unanswered. We need to start giving Patterson the chance. And I think moving Garner, who's a centre midfielder, right wing back, which he can play, and not giving Patterson that chance would be harsh on Patterson. I still feel I was really close to putting Patterson in over Young, by the way, because I feel Patterson will bomb it in this formation. You've got to have your wing backs win the battle and bomb it forward. If they are back, you've got a back five, and you're going to get battered by Tottenham. So you need your wing backs to bomb it forward. And I don't know whether Ashley Young will run past players. So I'm really close to having Patterson in, as I feel he'll do that more.
Yeah.
Right, we're on the biggie then. So we've got Enjoy and Lindstrom, fast feet, messy players in front of Garnegay and
I was just going to
Magdalene.
say there to Lulu, going off Moyes, it seems as though he said they need more information. So I'm not sure what's going on with McNeil, but it's obviously more complicated than originally thought. And we just want him back as soon as possible, don't we? We really do.
Yeah, it's his knees, I think, something with his knees, but doesn't look good. But you never know, do you? I'm sure we'll find out. We'll have to get the Everton physio on to tell us inside information on the Toffee Bluecast. Right, so we are on striker, and then we'll chuck your lineups on. This says there's about 30 people on YouTube. Normally goes live on X, but for some reason it hasn't. Maybe it's because I didn't update my blue tick. But if you can hit that like and subscribe, please do so while we're on. Hit that like. We want at least 30 likes when we come off. Striker, Paul.
Well, it's a shout of two. You're either in the DCL band or you're in the Beto gang.
Beto crew or the DCL band.
You know?
So you know what? I'm starting to get peed off with Calvert-Lewin, aren't I?
I mean, both of them have not got a great record. And when you look at Beto, like I say, with Decore, his arms and legs, but he don't half cause bother. We say it every week when we're talking about Beto, is that centre-backs don't like him. And particularly if you do end up with a young lad at centre-back against Beto, he's, he'll love a scrap. He'll absolutely love a scrap. So Spurs centre-backs should be aware of that if Beto is the one to start or even come on at the end. DCL is just bereft. Absolutely nothing in the tank in terms of confidence. Anytime that anything comes along to him, he's not hitting the target. You know, he's not getting that touch. And I was thinking back to the season that, like the COVID season, if you like, when he was doing great and scoring goals. A lot of them are one touches, they're headers. It's not generally taking people on and stuff. I think probably one of the best goals that he scored in the last year or two has been the one away against West Ham, where actually the ball's played in. He's done a little flick sideways through his legs, and then he's hit it from the edge of the box. They're a rarity, I think, with Dominic. You know, they're all very much, when he doesn't have to think for very long, then they tend to hit the target. But it just seems to be that he's absolutely minimal on confidence. I'd give Beto a shout, and I would have DCL just realise that when he comes on, he's got to do something.
On that Chelsea space that I was on just about half an hour ago before I come on this on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, I was trying to sell Calvert-Lewin to Chelsea because there was moaning that they haven't got a striker. And I go, you can have Calvert-Lewin. You can have him. But they wouldn't buy him off me, and they didn't seem that happy about that. Although Calvert-Lewin talks like he's this big I am, Chelsea fans didn't want him. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin, at the end of the day, we love our football club. Calvert-Lewin's been offered a contract. He's turned it down. So straight away to me, it's not good. It shows he doesn't want to be a football club. And he's waiting till his contract's finished at the end of this season and he'll go for nothing, which is frustrating because we could make a bit of profit on him, which would be massive on bringing a player in. So it's disappointing when someone does you over like that, like Ross Barkley did. And I'd love to move Calvert-Lewin on this window. Really scary, though, the fact that there's massive talk that Beto's going to leave. Keep linking Beto to teams because we know we're not a massive fan on Beto. I like Beto because he tries, but I still don't think he's clinical enough. So there's talk Beto could go. Shamit is injured. Brose is injured. And Calvert-Lewin has talked that he could go. So we're a team that needs to stay up and win games. We might have a striker because everywhere, none of them look like they're going to stay. So it's interesting that it's Paul. I'm with you though, Beto, all the way, because Beto's he's going to, I do feel if you get the ball into Beto, he's strong. And what I'm wanting from Enjoy and Lindstrom is to get a couple of knockdowns, knockoffs, and feed off Beto. So get it into Beto. And I think they'll get a lot of knockdowns off him. And that's when you'll see Enjoy in some really dangerous positions. And that's what you've got to do. Get it out in and around Beto. And sometimes he won't even win the ball. He'll challenge a Spurs Dragerson or whatever his name is. He'll challenge him. Spurs centre-back will head it out, go to Njai to his feet. Njai will be in a dangerous position, take a player on, score. That's the way I would look to get goals, is get it into Beto and get Lindstrom and Njai and say to him, get that second ball. Anything that gets knocked off from Beto or their centre-back clearing it around him, jump on that ball, and that's how we're going to get goals. And I think it would work.
Yeah, I think one of the other reasons for me shouting Beto over DCL is, and it's synonymous with all the Premiership games at the moment, in the fact that every team wants to keep possession. They pass it in front of the opposition defence all the time, from left to right, back again. No one goes in behind anymore. No one tries to get beyond the defenders and turn them around. And that's something I think, if we were able to do that, Lindstrom, Njai and Beto, players who are very forward thinking, their first thought isn't sort of to keep possession. I think generally their first thought when they get the ball is to turn so they're facing the team's goal and attack the opposition that way. They're less conservative, I think, than say a DCL or a Harrison or a Decore, who would, they'll try and win the ball back, but then they'll try and just keep possession. Whereas I think if our only aim is to keep possession of the football, one, we're not very good at that, and two, we're not going to score goals with that sort of attitude either. Whereas I think those three could create something together where we actually get one or two chances in, even if they just get us up the pitch, just by Njai or Lindstrom or Beto just running 40 yards with the ball going forward, which we know that they can do. So it's that kind of mentality, really. That's why I'm saying those players, as opposed to a Harrison, Decore and a DCL, who wouldn't look to turn the defenders. They would look to keep the ball and keep possession.
No, I completely agree. That's we do. It does take a bit longer to talk about our lineup because it feels like we need a massive transition. We are in a bit of trouble. We do need a bit of change, and we're trying to explain what we want here. So it does take a bit of a while. But I hope you enjoy what you're hearing. And there's a lot of agreement in the comments. Harry, I'm going to chuck this on you, and we'll get some lineups from the listeners on the screen, and we'll finish with score predictions. But Harry, what do you think of our lineup? Do you think we're going the right way about this? And second of all, if we were to do this lineup, do you feel it would be strong or weak?
Yeah, I think it'd be quite strong. I think Beto over Calvert-Lewin first is the right choice. I've watched Calvert-Lewin a few times when I've watched Everton this year, and McKay maybe gets in good positions. And okay, he's not going to necessarily get the service, but for me, he did against Aston Villa. He just didn't take those chances. A little bit of it, he didn't get the rub of the green, maybe unlucky. You could say that, but for me, he doesn't do enough to warrant starting games. Beto has more of an impact. His stats are better as well. The only thing that maybe I'd have changed if it could work is Ashley Young. I think obviously he does well, but for me, I don't think you can have a player on the pitch where you don't know he's going to be on the pitch at the end of the game. You need to, your first guarantee is, having 11 men on the pitch have the best chance of beating anyone on their day. You just can't rely on someone like Ashley Young. For me, that's the reality. But you have got players out and are forced to make those decisions. It'd be massive for you if someone like, I don't think it will be McNeil, but let's say McNeil was back or Garner was ready to play, then that would be massive for you. But I think that's a really strong defence. I don't think maybe that's the team you will see. I think you might see the back four, I'm afraid. I think he'll try and keep it very similar to what Dyche has just done. And then over time, as we go into really deep into that second phase of the season, he'll like to change things. But as a neutral kind of point of view and opposition point of view, this looks like a strong lineup, very defensively secure, and there's a little bit, just a little creativity in there and a chance that you could score goals. But I certainly can't see us breaking this team down. So yeah, good lineup, probably the best of what you've got.
Yeah, and Young has been one of our best players. So that's some.
Yeah, it does.
And
I was thinking about it.
Paul says, hey Dan, like Paul says, if you don't take DCL at bargain, then you say the other team in North London. There's not only two, is there?
You probably, do you know what? Calvert-Lewin will probably smash it when he goes to somewhere. That's the mad thing,
Harry.
I'm sure he will. That's annoying, isn't it?
We'll swap your Calvert-Lewin for Richarlison. Are you game for that, Harry? You've now just said you've got Solanke injured. Calvert-Lewin swap for Richarlison.
You're a striker.
Get it done. He'll be your next.
Richarlison will be out injured and Calvert-Lewin can't score. I don't know which one I'd prefer.
He'll be your next super striker. It'll be your new Harry Kane, Calvert-Lewin. Right. That is our team, people. Paul, if you want to chuck a couple of lineups on the screen and then we'll finish with score prediction.
Yeah, just gathering them now. There's been a few, so thank you very much. There's so many comments, so that's why I'm just taking a moment to get back through there. Nixon, you go through that one and I'll find the rest.
Who's gone for Jordan Pickford, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Brantford, 3 centre-backs, Patterson, wing-back. I'm with that. We put Young, but I'd prefer Patterson. Mangala, Garner, Mikalenko, Lindstrom and Jai and DCL. So he's basically with us. The only thing he swapped is Patterson. Nick, I love it. You're on the same wavelength. You must have brains. You're on it. What else have we got, Paul?
Blues is in.
The Blues, we know he likes his probably the only thing me and the Blues agree on. He likes his formation as well. And he's going for Patterson, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Brantford, Miko, Mangala, Garner Gay. Armstrong, I can't fault that young kid that looks really good. Yeah. I said about Spurs young kids doing well. Armstrong's the same. He's looked very good. Better than what we've got, and Jai and Beto. So Armstrong and Jai and Beto. Armstrong set Beto's goal up, so I'm game for him doing that again. So I'm not against that.
You're only a mark away there from having Armstrong and then Jai as those two as well. So forward slash.
I like it. So it doesn't make me worried when me and the Blues agrees. Paws has gone for a 5-1-3-1. Pickford, Pato, right wing back, O'Brien, Tarks, Brantford, Miko, left wing back, Garner, or Mangala, CDM, Lindstrom and Jai, Armstrong, and then DCL. He's gone for DCL. We surprised Paws on the DCL train, but fair enough.
Yeah,
some are.
I'm just making sure I haven't missed any before I go to Emma's. If I have missed yours, can you post? If I've missed anyone's, post it again for me. And because there's tops, so thank you very much for that. But we love Emma's emoji game. Might be a bit interesting.
I remember this last time.
Do you remember?
Harry's quite good at it as well. Harry knows, mate. Harry knows.
There we go. So Pickford is a peach in goal. I mean, I'm thinking she's going...
Patterson's a slap because they said that Patterson got slapped by Sean Dyche. Yeah, apparently Sean Dyche slapped Patterson. Yeah, that was a rumour. Yeah. So that's Patterson.
The giraffe is O'Brien.
He's a big guy.
You've got Tarkowski is the trophy.
He is the trophy. Tarkowski's got big ears. The trophy. Yeah.
You've got Brantwaite the goat. Brantwaite the goat.
Brantwaite. What is it? Ben
She's throwing. She's throwing Ashley Young on the left hand side.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So that's interesting shout.
Obviously,
we've got,
not happy with Miko.
We've got Lindstrom. We've got Lindstrom. On the right hand side.
Yeah.
Mangala Apple. We've got
destroyed for that one. Yeah.
Who's the arm? Armstrong, of course. So we've got
Armstrong,
Mangala. It looks as though then we've got Mangala and Armstrong middle diddle with Lindstrom in there. We've got Njai possibly on the left, and we've got King Beto up front. Interesting show.
Yeah, love it. We are getting good at that. We get fast at that, Paul, to be fair. Emma's got to be impressed with that. Straight away. Got it in the bag.
Yeah, we are getting... You know what? It's like when I'm teaching kids and they can't write, but you can read their writing. That's what we're like with Emma's emojis.
Chloe does that with my daughter. Like, she knows the way Eliana writes. She knows all the words. And I think, do you know what she means there? But she knows how she writes things. So I get where you're coming from on that one. So that is all the lineups, people, and we are getting to the main event, which I know all of you love. Who doesn't love a score prediction? And this is where me and Harry are probably going to fall out and never talk again.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Right, you know I like to put a bit of music. We've got to get a bit of hype for the score prediction because this is a massive game. It's a relegation battle between Tottenham and Everton. I can't believe I'm saying that. But you know what? I want to say that to you, right? And this is what's crazy. I didn't realise your position in the table. And Paul put a tweet up earlier on of the teams, like the table. I haven't been looking at it. I don't look at this early, but I should. And I didn't realise you are where you are. And last season, at this moment in time, the bottom, I think it was 7 teams, I got them all on the channel and said we're all in a relegation battle. Who do you think is going to go down? You would be, Spurs would be in that. They'd be on the show.
That's humiliating. It's honestly humiliating.
I know. That's probably why I won't do one, because I don't want to do that to you, Harry. But you would be in the category at the minute. And the thing is, if we do beat you, you're in it even more. And I was going to put this on you now. Do you think that you can you say you're in a relegation battle or not? Because you could be if you keep losing.
Before coming on here,
you say no, Miles.
Well, exactly. Before coming on here, I had my own podcast, and a lot of them genuinely believe that that is a possibility. If I'm being honest with you, I think it's going to be a really bad league season. I think bottom half. I think it's just going to be a struggle for so many different reasons. I don't really see us getting caught up in that. It's like Man United. I think eventually start to pull away. I think we'll be, kind of mid-table, which is not good enough, of course, but I don't really see us being involved in the relegation scrap. But the next few weeks, there's a possibility. But after this game, it's like Brentford. It's Leicester at home, Brentford away. So on paper, we should be winning these relegation 6-pointers, shouldn't we, really? And starting to
Harry,
that's the table.
Harry, that's what we thought in October. September.
You're meant to be giving me confidence here.
These eight games, I think it said these 8 games are going to define our season. And they bloody haven't.
It's hard because it's hard because I really love Harry, but I could rip into him so much here. I really could, because this is so out of character position for Tottenham. And if we win our next 2 games and you lose your next 2 games, there's 1 point difference in it. And I actually say we're in a relegation battle. So just putting that out to you, and no games in the bag. No game. Even if you played Leicester, they could randomly have. When I've been speaking to Callum on your channel, he hates playing the bad teams because Spurs seem to. He worries about playing teams that you should beat quite easily, because Spurs can smash someone randomly that you don't expect. They'll just smash them. But then when it comes to week,
we've done that against Man United City. This feels different though. Exactly. It feels like a team that are really struggling at the moment. But who knows?
Right.
We just don't know.
Let's do this then, people. So what we're going to do, the order we're going to do it is we're going to go Paul first with his score prediction. Then we're going to go Harry. And then we're going to go me, and we'll chuck your score predictions on. Let's do this, people. This is big. This is a big game. Massive game. It is actually a big game when you think about it.
It is actually,
yeah. We'll win this before. Let's do this. Paul.
Right.
Your score prediction and goal scorers. Put it to me.
Well, if anything, and I don't think he meant to do this, but Harry's lineup and the news on Solanke actually made me a bit more positive about us. I think they're there to be got at. I think Moyes has had another few days. I think it really depends on Moyes in terms of in making at least one difference, one change to what we've had before. And that might be something simple as starting Lindstrom instead of Harrison. It might be, the 3 or 5 at the back. It might be Armstrong getting a more of a chance from the beginning. That's that kind of thing. I think if he makes 1 or 2 changes from what we've had before, I think that will keep the positivity for the fans, because we were a little bit crestfallen when we saw the lineup against Villa, because we thought, Moyes is back, he's going to change something. Didn't have a lot of time. I understand why. Everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt, of which they should definitely have, of course, done. But I would like to see just a couple of little changes, something just to start stamping his authority on it, and just to get us up the pitch a little bit more with a bit more intensity. So, with that said, and the fact that we are at home, and the fact that there always seems to be goals in our games together, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I think we'll win 2-1. It'd be scrappy.
2-1. Who's goal scorers?
2-1. I think someone like Beto would score, to be honest. I think you'd have Beto, and I think you would have someone like Mangala. Yeah.
Beto, Mangala, and Spurs.
Mangala, 2-1. And for you guys, I'd probably say Maddison.
Maddison. That is Paul's prediction, 2-1, and that's his goal scorers, people. Right, now we are going to put it on to the Spurs main man. Harry, what are you coming at us with? Is he going to hit us with a win or a loss? Come on.
I'm not feeling confident. I wasn't before the Slanky news, but that's just proper tip me over the edge. I think this could be, I hate to say it, it doesn't feel right, but the beginning of the end to Ange. And I hope I look back at this, and I hope fans look back at this and go, wow, we were wrong. And you know, I'm still behind him, but I'd just love to be proved wrong. I'd love for it to work at Spurs, but I just feel that this is the ending now. Player after player are going. We didn't turn up for the derby. I think we'll lose this. It just feels, you know, David Moyes, excellent record against Tottenham. Won all 3 games up against Ange Postecoglou, that managerial head-to-head already. And David Moyes himself, as I said, does the result against Tottenham. I think it'd be a tough team to play, and I think we will lose this game 2-0 Everton. But the only question mark behind the prediction is where your goals are going to come from. I just think that we have a defensive disaster class.
Well, we've broken him. Dan, we've broken Harry.
Yeah.
Someone come and pick up Harry.
Go and cry now. Go and cry now and being on the edge of the relegation zone.
I feel bad now.
I know, I feel bad. You spoke about your manager getting sacked. Would you take Sean Dyche?
Listen, Sean Dyche has done a fantastic job wherever he's been, but nice. I would not take him at Spurs, but some fans would. I just don't think he's right in the way that we want to play. But some fans would, honestly, some would. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it was a lie. It was a lie, but no, don't be fooled by Harry's hustle, mate. I tell you, because he's like, oh, we're struggling. I think you could win, but then he'll be celebrating his arse off if they win 5-0 or something like that. He's hoping. He's doing that bluff where he says they're going to lose, but really he's like, he knows that. Like, yeah, he's ready. Right, my score prediction, people. You didn't want to give goal scorers because you just can't admit that Everton are going to score goals. So I'll give some goal scorers for you, Harry.
Go on. I'm
going to go for. I spoke about it to Callum. Remember the cup game where it was like 5-4, and there's a bit of a thriller, 5-4 Tottenham versus Everton in the cup, and it was like end to end, and yeah, it was crazy, and it felt like 5 games into one because there was that many goals and moments, and I believe this is going to be the same. You know, I think we'll both go for it, and I think we're going to win 4-3. 4-3.
Where are you going to get 4 goals from? Where are you getting 4 goals from?
But on goals.
Well, this is the thing. Like at some point, we do have a random. We beat Brighton like 4-5-0 randomly once, and I think when you've been crap for so long and you can't put it in the back of the net, you have a game where you just put it. It comes together, and I think this is going to be the game. And you say the goal scorers that I think Njai. I've seen him score against you when he played for Sheffield. So Njai is one. I do believe Beto can score randomly. I think a lot of people don't like him, so I think he'd score because he's being questioned. He seems to do that. He scores, but then people say he's not that good. So Njai, Beto, O'Brien, I'd love him. If he got the chance to play centre-back, O'Brien can score, you know, as a centre-back. So O'Brien, and then I'm going to give a goal to Lindstrom. So it's not unrealistic. Yeah, I think Njai can score. Yeah, I think Beto can score. Yeah, I think Lindstrom can score. And yeah, centre-back, whether it's O'Brien, Tarkowski or Branthwaite, I believe can score. Your goals will be Son, your right back. I'm going to go for Porro or whatever his name is. Yeah. And then I'm going to give one to Brennan Johnson. Normally scores against Everton as well. It could happen, you know. I don't want it to. I want it to be a 5-0 Everton, relax, cup of tea, chill. But I don't think I've got a feeling because we're both a bit down in the dumps here and not that happy about our teams that it's going to be both teams going for it, but absolutely exposed at the back. So 4-3. What have we got in the comments, Paul? And then we will wrap up the show. Oh, did you like that? 4-3?
That would be ace. That would be amazing.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson thriller, that.
That's one word, yeah. That's definitely one word. Lots. So thank you, everyone. Scouts reckons 2-0. There's a mixed bag, but the reason I posted earlier on in the week about us doing Toffee Bluecast, and the people on it make it for me. They're absolutely hilarious. But we are a positive bunch, usually at the end of the show. At the beginning of the show, we're absolutely fuming and we hate Everton. By the end of the show, we're positive and we're going to win 4-3, like Dan said. Scouts 2-0. Lulu's gone 1-1. Nick's gone 0-0, which would be, well, it's happened before, but there's goals to be.
Nick went big. Nick went big on the lineup, Paul. He went really positive on the lineup, but bottled it on the result.
Well, I don't know. Maybe with that 3 or 5 at the back, that's what we can do. So we can.
Spurs have got a good team, by the way. Don't be fooled by Harry. Not that confident in them at the minute. They've got a good team.
Even with players out, there's still quality in there. It still would be a tough game. I just think we're
Madison's a good player as well.
Yeah, of course he is. I just don't think we turn up. That's the problem with us. But if we do, then we've shown what we're capable of. And we've shown it at Old Trafford. We've shown it at the Etihad. We're even scoring, 2-3 goals against Liverpool. We've shown what we're capable of going forward.
Emma's gone 2-1. See, at the end, at the beginning,
yes, Emma.
Positivity. We're winning everything. We're going O'Brien and Beto for the goals, which would be awesome. I wouldn't mind that at all. Paws reckons that it's 3-2. See, we've all had something to drink tonight. Toffees go 2 up in the first half. Then 55 minute. They go up 2-0 up in the first half. Then 55 minute, we come back. Njai, Branthwaite, and Beto. Indeed, Bob's in 2-2.
Destroy Harry. That destroy him. That one would 2-0 up and a comeback. He'd be fuming.
Yeah, suicide ball, possibly. Rod Ross battered 3-0. There you are. There's always someone. Rod Ross. Always someone to bring us back. But Eugene's in the house. What score do you reckon Eugene when we're done?
Probably 4-1 or 5-1.
4-1 every time.
4-1, there you go. Without even looking.
Gets a hat-trick and Njai as well.
That's how hat-trick.
It'll happen one day.
Love it.
He says it every time, but it'll happen one day. Graham.
This is the worst thing though, because as a fan, you love your football club, so you build yourself up. Because I think personally, like you are the person, you're the supporter, so you've got to support whoever, even if you don't believe it, to win the game. And you build yourself up, and you're ready yourself. You feel like you're playing, so you build yourself up, and you're like, yes, come on. And if they let you down, so you build yourself up to here, and then you just, when they play crap, you're like, oh my God, it knocks you from there to there. And I can see why some people don't sometimes build themselves up, because they just keep themselves near the bottom so it doesn't hurt as much when they let you down.
We don't care at this point, do we?
Football fan life. No, it's the football fan life. I'm choosing to risk it all and build myself up to get absolutely heartbroken, and I hope that the build-up stays.
Well, it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that does it, isn't it? Graham reckons Branthwaite for the corner, and then Njai screamer. Why not? We still got some others. The Blue. Oh, you know what? I saw 3-0 from the Blues, and I thought it's being positive, but it's not. It's the Spurs. Richie Porro and Johnson, 3-0.
I am scared of Johnson if he plays.
Well,
he's not in good form.
He has been good for it.
I remember one of the first times. I think one of the first times he came back, he scored twice, didn't we? Did we lose 3-1 or 3-2?
Yeah, because he didn't celebrate, and we all said, "Oh, we love him for it." Yeah, it's dangerous.
No, it is dangerous. It is.
I honestly do believe Harry liking Richarlison, and he didn't slate him because it's just been injuries, and that's why they might.
Yeah, that's all it is. Nothing else.
Yeah, but he's when he's played for you, he's been good. It was crazy because he'd come on. And he scored for you, and he got injured straight after he scored when he come on. I watched that game when he come on for you. He literally scored a goal, and the commentator was like, "Oh, Richarlison's the difference." He come on and changed the game, but got injured straight after he scored. So just injuries. It'd be a risk for us on the injury thing with him as well, because we need players to play to get into that 11. What else? No, I'm not on the Zambukis.
Yeah, David who said 2-0.
We went to the bar for
Dan's had too many. He's had too many Farley's rusks. That's what it is. They're very Moorish.
We went to the bar for a Zambuca. No, I ain't had no Zambucas. I have actually had Luke say so. A bit of caffeine has probably gone to my head, and that's why I'm so positive, people. Right, so that is all of them in. David B he's had a tenner on Enjoy to score. That's how confident he is. I love the confidence. Right, so we are finishing the show, people. Harry, plug yourself up. I mean, what I will mention, your show, I do go on. I need to start putting it on the Toffee Bluecast when I go on, because we do get quite a following on the Toffee Bluecast. So Harry does a show. What's the name of the show again, Harry?
It's channel's called Scarfy Spurs Talk, and the show on it that you're involved with is the Scarfy Talks Premier League podcast, which is always great, and it's an honour to get you on. Obviously, get fans of different Premier League clubs on, getting their thoughts, reviewing the previous game week, previewing the upcoming games, just talking anything that's relevant in the news. So it's always great to have you as part of that. But you can follow me at Harry Scarf 22, a football content creator and YouTuber. Across all socials, also a Politics UK news producer, which is fantastic. I also have my own YouTube channel, Scarfy Spurs. So I mentioned it there. For the Everton fans interested, don't expect you, apart from this weekend, to be interested in the Spurs content. Obviously, a lot of Spurs and Everton content, so you feel free to check it out. But there is England national team and Premier League content as well, catering as always for a wide range of audience. So big up Everton fans. Wish you all the best after tomorrow, and hopefully, when I look at the table, we won't both be looking, so close together on the same page. But who knows? It could be you in the top half. It could be us in the bottom half. We'll have to see how it goes. But no, all the best. I think that David Moyes, good appointment. I think a little bit of time, and it really gel nicely. So I wish you all the best in that transition. Never easy. New owners come in, new stadium, busy time at the club. But I wish all the best for Everton, a historic club, and we want them in the Premier League, and we want them to thrive.
Oh, cracking words. We do love you on the channel, Harry. To be fair, we do love you on. And get on his socials and stuff and follow it, because it's really good. You'll like it. Get behind it. Go on and subscribe. What he's just told you, follow it. It's in the stuff below as well in the description. Give him a follow. Get behind it. Loads of football fans. We go on it sometimes. And we'll keep promoting it and getting behind what he does, because I do feel it will take off. It's really good. We talk about every game.
Thank you.
Not just Everton, every game. Right, everybody. I am going to drop the banner now. Thanks, everyone, for listening. It's been cracking having you on. We love you. Big game now. I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. Battle of the Everton versus Spurs. I don't know what it is about. I don't want to say it's a relegation. Battle of the teams.
Yeah.
It's the first step for one of us pushing up, and then hopefully, because I like Harry and don't mind, they push up after we beat them. See you later, everyone. Have a bye. Have a good one, everyone.